So welcome everybody to session 3 of our Managing Electronic Resources webinar series. I'm just going to show the page of the Managing Electronic Resources. This is the official page. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have it. I will, however, send this out in the chat right now to everybody. Those of you who are viewing this via the YouTube video, you will see a link to this page in the description of the video. So we're now on session 3, ERM 103, ordering and activating portfolios, where we're covering, among other topics, the local portfolio and local collection. That means one that is not connected to the community zone. But let's first see where we are in the big picture here. We started with our first session overview and background, where we set the stage to put everybody on the same level, the terminology, the structure, the infrastructure, also the community zone, the institution, what is a portfolio, what is a collection, etc. By the way, you've got links to the recordings here for all of the sessions that we've already done. Then we did ordering and activating collections, where we went to the community zone, ordered a collection, made a purchase order line, activated the collection, etc. And now we're doing for portfolios. So we're talking about a title, not an entire collection. There may be a collection in the community zone, which includes, for example, 100 portfolios, or in other terminology, 100 titles, and we want only to activate one, or only to order and then activate one. So we're not ordering the entire collection, we're choosing a specific portfolio. But we're also going to see, what if there is a portfolio we want that is not in the community zone, or a group of portfolios in a collection that is not in the community zone. In that case, we're going to create a local portfolio or a local collection. So that's what we plan on doing today. We will use these PowerPoints. We've got one here on creating the local portfolios and local electronic collections, another one on ordering and activating the electronic portfolio from the community zone. We'll use these as a basis, but we'll be doing all of our work inside Alma. If you have any questions or comments during the session, feel free to send them in the chat, and I will be looking periodically at the chat. So let's jump right in. So we have two examples here that we're going to look at of what we're going to do here. This is what I already explained here about, we have a title or a group of titles, which would be in a collection, that we want to either create and activate in our institution, or we want to order them and activate them in our institution, and they don't exist in the community zone. So that's called a local portfolio. If it's in a collection, it's called a local electronic collection. In the next session, by the way, next session, I'm going to go to the list here. When we talk about maintaining e-resources, we're going to see why it's advantageous to have the portfolios in an electronic collection rather than a standalone, not in an electronic collection. So we'll see that next week, but this week we will see how to put them in a collection. So we've got two examples here that we're going to do. We're calling one of them, let me just close this so we don't get another pop-up. Okay. So we're going to have two titles, which are going to be local portfolios. They don't exist in the community zone. And then we're going to put them in a local collection. So we'll start with this one here. This is the title that we're going to create. So let's start by making sure we don't have it. So I will search all titles for a title, and I'll see if I have that title. I don't have it. I'll go to the community, see if we've got it in the community. If we do, then I can order it from the community. We don't have it in the community either, in the community zone. So we're going to create a local portfolio. We're going to do the same for this one here, health benefits of grilling food. And we'll see here, just to make sure. This time we'll check the community zone first, see if it's there, and it's not. So then we'll check our institution, and it's also not here. So those are our two local portfolios that we're going to create now. And these are the URLs that we're going to point to. If it was an ebook, it would go to the book, etc. A journal, these are the URLs it's going to. Okay, so we're going to start with resources, create inventory, add local portfolio. So here we are, resources, create inventory, add local portfolio. Now, everything is explained in the PowerPoint. I'm not going to show the PowerPoint. I'm going to explain it here. So if I already had a bibliographic record called, what was our first one that we searched for? Health benefits of barbecue grilling. If I had that already, I could say use existing title. If I had a bibliographic record, I don't have the portfolio yet. I could say use existing title and then click here and go choose the title. But I don't already have a bibliographic record for it. So I'm going to say create a new title. And I'll put the title in here, health benefits of barbecue grilling. And the record type, if you recall last time, we spoke about a one-time or a continuous. Continuous is the kind that needs to be renewed. For example, an electronic journal. We're saying now that we want a one-time. If we already had the electronic collection, we could click here, part of the electronic collection, and then here, come and search for the electronic collection. But we're going to create the collection later. First, we're going to start with just creating the standalone portfolio. When we say standalone, we mean it's standing alone. It's not standing within a collection. But we're going to create that collection later. I'll give it a library. Their electronic portfolios are associated with a library. If I had coverage information, I could put that here. Now I'm going to put in the URL. Where does this go to? So I've got the URL already here. So let's go get the URL. So we're talking about the health benefits of barbecue grilling, etc. And here's my URL. This is just random URLs and resources that I checked in advance to use as an example. So we'll put that in. And I'm saying it's going to be active. Electronic material type. I've got all of these different options here to, this is going to be a website. Let's give it a public note so that later we will see this. I will say, for example, depending on your location, may require additional authentication. Okay, that could actually be an authentication note, but in any case, I want this to go to the public, so I'm making it a public note. It's not an authentication note, meaning I'm going to put in the authentication note actually, so we'll see where both of them appear. But the authentication note we're going to see in a different location, and that's more for the institution setting things up. I'm going to say here may require EasyProxy. Okay, and we'll see where those appear later. So now I've got the basics filled in here, and we're ready to save it. So I'm going to say save and done. This is our title. This is going to create a bibliographic record. Very, very brief. I'm not even putting in an author, for example. Save and done. And now I'll already have this portfolio ready. Here's the portfolio. If I click on the title, I will see the bibliographic record, which is extremely brief, but we can enrich that, and we will. Let's create the other one first, and then we'll start playing around with the bibliographic records. So now we're going to create health benefits of grilling food. and that's going to be in this URL. So again, we're going to say resources, create inventory, and add local portfolio. Again, it's going to be a one-time, and we're going to create a new title. So here's our new title, and here's the URL. And maybe this time we'll put in a author. So this is, if this was going to be an author, it would be New York Health, which would probably go in a 110. Or definitely not in a 100. It's not a person. So let's put that in just so we can see what happens. So I'm going to make the author be New York Health. Okay. So we've got all of our basic information. We're saying it's going to be active. We've got the URL, brief notes here. I'll put in a public note again. This is required reading for Professor Pen's class on Taiwanese cooking. Okay. And save and done. So in both cases now, we're going to have two bibliographic records. We will slightly enrich them. And then we're going to put these in a electronic collection, a local electronic collection. I'm just going to check the chat here. I didn't see any chats pop up. I don't see any chats. Just give me another sign that you're all still with me. Sometimes I get a little concerned when no chats come in that maybe there's a problem. Okay, people are saying they're still with me. Simply no questions. Okay, great. So let's go on. Let's see first here that we covered everything that we wanted to cover, what we've done so far. So we created the local portfolios. We did the create new title, but I described that if we already had a title, we could have used the use existing title. We went to add local portfolios. We filled in the basics here, and they were standalones. We didn't have any coverage. We made them active. We put in the URL. We made the notes, save and done. And the portfolios, we saw the portfolios are active. We did it for both of them. Now we're going to go see the bibliographic records. So let's start with the health benefits of barbecue cooking. And let's go to all titles. And let's take a look. So I will edit this record. And I'm just going to add a few more fields here and make it a little more rich. Okay, so this is a very, very brief record. I'm going to put in a author here. So we'll say F8. And I'll say this is the Willow Ranch restaurant. Now I'm saying it's the Willow Ranch restaurant because if we go to the URL that we added there, let's do that. This is this URL, I believe. Yes. So it's the Willow Ranch restaurant is the author of this. It's not exactly an author, the body responsible for it. Willow Ranch restaurant. Now, we're not going to be focusing here on the intricacies of proper cataloging, but we will be showing that we can enrich the record. So I'm also going to do a Control E and expand from a template. And I've got a template here called 336, 337, 338 for ebooks, just so I can add the 336, 337, 338. And I'll say add missing. Okay, so that's going to add a couple of fields here, and those are correct. It's an online resource, computer, etc. Maybe it's a little different, but we're adding fields. That's our main goal here. And let's also add a 650. We'll make that a Library of Congress 650. And Let's put in here barbecue cooking. F3, I'm just going to add one. Oh, I meant to put that in the second indicator. Sorry about that. Okay. F3, let's see what we got here. Nothing. Okay, so let's say cooking. One moment, please. Let's go back in here. Okay, here we are. F3. We're just going to copy a heading from Library of Congress. And okay, so let's take cooking. Let's just see one more time. If I say here barbecue. Someone asked about loading portfolios to a collection. We're going to talk in depth about that next week or next session, but we will also show that today very shortly. So I'm going to take this barbecuing heading here, select, and let's just add one more, F8, 650, and a 0. And I saw there was a nice one there, barbecue cookery. Let's go take a look at that one. Barbecue cookery. I think I might have spelled that wrong, but that's all right too. Oh, I did. Okay. There we are. Let's take this one. Okay, so that's the same one. That was simply the non-preferred. So we've got enough now. We added enough just to show that we can enrich the record. And we'll save. So now the record is richer, meaning it's more discoverable. If someone searches by the 650 field barbecuing or searches by the Willow Ranch restaurant, he or she will find it, rather than only the title, which we originally had. Let's also enrich the other bibliographic record, which was the health benefits. Nope, that's the one we already got. So now we'll also enrich here our other example. Let's look for it here. This is the health benefits, and we want now health benefits of grilling food. Okay, we'll enrich this one as well. Health benefits of grilling food. There we are, edit record. Same thing here. We'll give it an enrichment here. Let's expand from a template and get these RDA fields in here. Let's say F8, we'll add also a 650 here. And let's call this one, for example, grilling. Grilling, cooking, great. Let's take that. Also barbecuing, okay. And let's make this New York Health also be a 110. Enough for our purposes that we have enriched the record. If we were real professional catalogers, we probably would have done a lot more, but that suffices for our purposes. The main point being, we've shown that we can enrich the records. Okay, I'm going to release them. And let's now see what we got here. So if we come to the portfolios, let's just say grilling. Healthy grilling. Oh, we got a lot of grilling. So let's go here. We'll go to electronic portfolios. We'll go to MMS creation date. We'll say today, just so we'll get the two that we created. Okay, so we see they're active. That's because when we created the portfolio, we clicked that it was active. There's no need now to go to the electronic resource activation task list, which you may recall from the last session. When we activated something from the community zone, we then had to go to the electronic resource activation task list and activate it. Here, it's already active. I'm just going to show why again. because when we said add local portfolio, we clicked here that we want it active. So it's already active. I'm going to get out of there. And let's also see these. Let me go back to all titles. And here also I'll say, give me those from today, just so we can see what we created. There may be more here. I may have created other records today. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, so here they are, the bibliographic records. And they're probably already in Discovery. Let's take a look. I'm going to say display in Discovery. A Primo V option. Takes up to 15 minutes for these records to get into Primo. And it's already there. Okay, so we've already got it here. Here's our public note. This is required reading for Professor Hen's class on Taiwanese cooking. View full text. I'm going to click that. Brings me directly to the URL that we have in there. Here's the other one, the health benefits of barbecue grilling. Now note, I said before that I'm going to add the authentication note and the public note so that later we can see where they are. And here they are. Here's the notes for the end user, and we've got the view full text. So I'm going to click there we are. We click it and we come right in to the same URL that we put inside the portfolio. I saw some chats came in. I'm going to look at them in a second. But now our main point that we want to stress here is we have created 2 local portfolios. Then we enriched the bibliographic record that was all automatically created during the process of creating the portfolio. Then we saw that they exist already in Primo. And when we go to the view full text, we're getting a link to the URL that we put inside the portfolio. When I say the URL that we put inside the portfolio, I mean when we went to resources, create inventory, add local portfolio, we added a URL here. And then when we click here, we go to that URL. We can also see that URL when we go look at the portfolio here. Let's do this again. I'm going to go into the portfolios. In Alma, let me close these other tabs. Okay, so if we look at this portfolio, that's an all title search. Let me do a portfolio search. Electronic portfolios. And let's say health benefits grilling, because they got that in both of them. Okay. So let's take a look at the portfolio. This is what we created. It was activated today. Activated because we created it with Available. We made it available automatically. In the linking part, we've got the static URL that we put in when we created the portfolio. We don't have any acquisitions now. We could order this, but one thing at a time. And in the notes, we've got the public note that we added. And in the other one, we'll also have the authentication note. So now we're going to take these. First, I'm going to look at the chats, but the plan is we're going to take these 2 portfolios and we're going to load them into an electronic collection. Let me first go look at the chats and see if we got anything we want to discuss. Okay, so I'm opening the chats. And okay, is the public note searchable in the Discovery system? No, you can't search by the public note. However, you can see the public note. You can, by the way, in analytics, see the public note. So you could make a report of all of the public notes or all of the portfolios which have a certain public note, etc. But there's no search in Discovery for the public note. What would be the use case, by the way, for that? Why? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just asking. Why would you want to enable your users to search by public note in Discovery? If you want to share with us, feel free to put it there in the chat. Someone else asked, can you make it a bit larger? Okay. That I can do. All right. Someone asks, can you explain an incremental load of portfolios to a local collection? Right now, the next thing we're going to do is load portfolios into a local collection. That's the exact thing we're going to do. First, we're going to create the local collection. Then we're going to load portfolios into it. So you'll see that. And then it looks like the same question twice. Okay. Is there a simple way of getting a list of all locally added portfolios? Yes, let's do that. I'm going to just put this on the side here. We've got a session, by the way, on troubleshooting. I wonder if we should wait for this onto the troubleshooting session, but we'll take a look right now as well. Let me see what else. Oh, someone says, oh, now this is the answer of why someone would want the public note searchable. So the person says, if you put the professor in the public note, so the students could search for their professor and see all the required reading portfolios. Well, if that was the case, I would do that a different way by putting the name of the professor in a field of the bibliographic record and getting it that way. If that's the ultimate goal. Okay, now let's focus now on the question here. Oh, and the person who wanted the screen bigger said it was only in the metadata editor. So I'll make this a little smaller. Okay, so about the local portfolios, let's see what we got here. I'm going to go into the advanced search of electronic portfolios. And if I'm not mistaken, we have something here is linked. Yes. So is linked means it's linked to the community zone. So I'm going to say is linked no, just to see what's going on here. Search. And okay, so we can see these are all local. When I say yes, these are the two we created today. So this is all of the portfolios which were created on our own, not linked to the community zone. If, however, I were to say is linked yes, so these are linked to the community zone. See here, we've got a picture of the people, meaning it's linked to the community, the people icon. And when we said is linked no, we got a picture of a house, meaning it's in my house, in my institution. Okay, so person who asked the question, is there a simple way of getting a list of all locally added portfolios? Does that answer your question? Okay, let's move on. Yes, he does. Yes, person says yes. Okay, so now we're going to create the local collection. Let's just go back to our PowerPoint briefly. And again, you guys can all read this PowerPoint on your own. That's where we're going fairly quickly. And now we're going to add the local collection. Okay. So before we do that, let's make a set of the portfolios and load, because we're going to need that set to load into the local electronic collection. Okay, so let's get the set. I can get the set many different ways. I can get everything I created today. I could go to all of those with the words health benefits grilling, and I'll save this as a set. So I'm going to say save query. It needs to be a set of type portfolios. I'll say save query, and I'll call this portfolios to add to local collection. Okay. Here's the set content type is portfolios. And I won't make this private in case I want any of my colleagues to also be able to use this. By the way, in about 2 weeks or so, I believe it's in November, we're having a session on the new managed sets, the new managed sets interface. So you may want to come to that. Okay, let's say save. So now I've got my set. By the way, this is the new Manage Sets interface. So here's my set. It's called Portfolios to Add to Local Collection. And now let's add the local collection, and then we're going to add these portfolios to it. Here we go. So resources create inventory, just like when we added the local portfolio. Now we're going to add a local electronic collection. So what do we want to call this? Let's call this resources about grilling food. So let's see, resources about barbecuing. Okay, we'll call it the same as it is in the PowerPoint, just to make things the same. Resources about barbecuing. Okay, public name override, don't need internal description. Let's say this is a list of resources about barbecuing. Okay, let me just fix some of that spelling. Okay. Everything else we're going to leave here. Selective package. It's not a database. It's full text. And then save and continue. So now this is our collection, electronic collection. We're not going to put in active from active to because it's always going to be active. And I'll make it available. Service description, full text, that's really all we need. Linking, we don't need anything here in the linking because we're not having a URL on the level of the whole collection. There's the URL for each portfolio. Now I'm in the Portfolios tab. Now I have a Load Portfolios. And here I can do a couple of things. I could use a file. We're not going to use a file now, but I could have a KBART file or an Excel file of the portfolios. I'm just showing this right now because we're going to do it a different way. And then I could choose the file here. We have a session which will include this. However, we're going to do it a different way. So then we've got notes. We don't have any notes here. Let's make a public note. Use this for classes in the culinary arts department. Okay, barbecuing is a culinary art, I assume. Okay, and that should suffice for that, and we'll save. Now, we want to add this. Here's the collection. We want to add this, the whole set. So from the additional tab, we're going to go to the service on the bottom. We're going to do this a different way also. I want to show two ways to get to the service of full text. So here, I'm going to say edit this service. And in the Portfolios tab, I can add from a set. We still have that load portfolios here, which I showed before of a file, but we're doing it from a set. I'm going to get out of here because I want to show another way. If we search for this collection, which is resources about barbecuing, here we can go directly to the service. Instead of doing edit collection, additional, and then edit service, we can go right from the search. Let's do it again. And directly to the service. Now in the service here, we're going to go to the Portfolios tab and add from set. Let's choose the set name. So notice we're looking at electronic portfolios type sets. We're going to choose the set that we just added, portfolios to add to the local collection. Submit. That's running a job in the background. And there's only 2 portfolios, so it will be very fast. Let's go take a look at the job just for the fun. We'll go to Admin Monitor Jobs. And in the History tab, here it is. Completed successfully, 2 records processed. So now if I go to one of those portfolios, we can see that it's in the electronic collection now. Resources about barbecuing. And if we go to the electronic collection, resources about barbecuing, we can see here that it has 2 portfolios, portfolio list, and these are the 2 portfolios. Let me just take a look at the chat. I think 2 chats came in. Someone says, how to make a record different from the paper title record to be created. In my case, when I upload portfolios with Excel file, then Primo does not display the ones that are in the community zone. Does not display the ones that are not in the community zone. Well, let's save that, because in the session here, maintaining e-resources next week, we're going to be talking about loading portfolios. So let's save it for that, because it sounds like you're having an issue with loading portfolios. So to keep things in their place, let's save that for next week. Okay, let's move on. So now that we already have a electronic portfolio, excuse me, local electronic collection, we'll be able to see now different ways that we could create local portfolios. When we did the initial local portfolios, if you recall, we said resources, add local portfolio. Then later we made the electronic collection. Then later we loaded the portfolios to the collection. But let's see, now that we have this local collection, I'm also going to go into Primo while we're at it. So let's go in here. Okay. This may already be here, as we know it takes a bit of time. Okay, not yet. Just like we enriched the bibliographic record for the portfolios, we can also make a rich bibliographic record for the collection. If we come to the local collection, in the additional tab, we have add descriptive information. That's a place to add a bibliographic record. So let's make a bibliographic record. It's going to be basic, but we'll be able to link it to the electronic collection primarily for discovery purposes, because someone will be able to search in discovery for those fields that are in the bibliographic record. So let's make a bibliographic record there. Let's go to the metadata editor. It's not going to be a big fancy one, but for our purposes, it will be enough to show. So let me take a template here. Let's take we'll take this ebook and then we'll just change it around. So I will say new record from template. Okay. Now I'll make this a little bigger. I recall the comment before. Okay. So this will call resources about barbecuing. There is no author. It'll be English RDA fine. We won't even put in a call number, and doesn't include biological reference, bibliographic references, and we'll give it a couple of What happened there? We'll give it a couple of subject fields. F3. Okay. Culinary creativity. Okay. Let's just see what that is, because that's a non-preferred term. We don't have the star next to it. Creative ability in cooking. That sounds like a good one. Okay, so we'll select that. And we'll also put in that grilling one, which in the end, I believe, was a non-preferred term for barbecuing. Grilling, cooking, we'll say select. And that should cover it for our purposes. So now someone will find this searching also by these fields here, provided we link this to the electronic collection. So we've made our bibliographic record. Get rid of this as well. And I will release it. Now let's go to the collection. It was called Resources About Barbecuing. Okay, so now we're going to enrich this electronic collection with a nice bibliographic record. So here in the additional descriptive information, we'll click it, brings us to a search box. I'm going to search by that subject. So here it is. This is the record we just made. I'll select that one. And now it's part of the electronic collection. Save. Meaning, if somebody searches in Discovery, in Primo, or Summon, by one of the fields in that bibliographic record, he or she will get to this collection. Okay, more information. When we created those two portfolios, again, we didn't already have the local electronic collection, but now, for example, from within the service here, let's go directly to the service, just so we get in the habit of doing that. So this is called, again, Resources About Barbecuing. Okay, so let's go right to the service and to the Portfolios tab. Now note we also have here add, we did add from set, we also have add local portfolio. So this brings me now to that same screen that we were in before when we did resources add local portfolio. But now it's automatically going to be in the electronic collection because I already started from within there. So let's do a quick example. I'm going to take any example here. Let's say barbecuing in Taiwan. And let's say we want Taiwan Mid-Autumn Festival. Oh, perfect. So this is going to be our new portfolio. I'm starting now from already inside the electronic collection. So this portfolio will automatically be in it. So I'm just going to make it very brief. We're not going to redo the record or anything this time. We're not going to make it more rich. We're just going to show that now we can add this from within the electronic collection and it will automatically be in there. We're not going to need to load it like we did last time. I think that's enough. We're saying active. We've got the URL. We really don't need to do anything else. And save and done. Let me give it a MR host. Okay. I'll just give it what we got. That's fine. And save. Save and done even. So now there's 3 portfolios in this electronic collection. If we were to search for this portfolio, we'll search by Taiwan Mid-Autumn Festival, etc. We can see that it's already in that electronic collection. It automatically got added because we started from within. Let's do another example now where we're going to do it from resources, add local portfolio. And now that we already have the electronic collection, we're going to say part of an electronic collection. Last time we made it a standalone because we didn't have the electronic collection yet. So let's find any other example. Let's again do barbecuing Taiwan. And let's take this time, why Taiwanese people love outdoor cooking. So we'll give it a title. And we'll give it a URL. And here we're going to say part of an electronic collection, what we couldn't do before. Now we're going to choose that electronic collection. Electronic collection was called Resources About Barbecuing, right? Let's say it'll start doing a lookup here. As you can see that spinning. I only put in 3 letters. I should put in a little more if I want it to be a little more efficient. Or we could click these 3 lines here and do a search. There we go. And that should do it. So now we've again used the resources, create inventory, add local portfolio, but now we're adding it directly to the electronic collection because the electronic collection already exists. And let's go take a look at that. Here it is, why Taiwanese people love outdoor cooking, and we can see that it's in that electronic collection. By the way, let's see if I do the same thing now. Nope, still not. Okay, we'll get it. I don't think I'll have this one in here yet either. It takes up to 15 minutes. Why Taiwanese people? Well, I could just do it right from here. So also, if we come and we look for this electronic collection from here, the resources about barbecuing, we'll see all 4 of them. Let's summarize. We first created 2 local portfolios. That's the first 2 here, health benefits of barbecue grilling and health benefits of grilling food. We did not yet have the local electronic collection. We created the local electronic collection afterwards. Then we made a set of these 2 portfolios and then loaded it to the electronic collection. Then we showed 2 other ways that we can add a local portfolio to the electronic collection. The Taiwan Mid-Autumn Festival, from within the electronic collection, from the service, the portfolios tab of the service, we said add local portfolio. And because we were starting already from within the local electronic collection, it automatically got added to that local electronic collection. Then we did why Taiwanese people love outdoor grilling. That one we added from resources, add local portfolio, and we were able to choose here part of an electronic collection because we already had the electronic collection available. Okay, let's make sure we covered everything, which I think we did. Then I'm going to look at the chats. Here's where we added the local portfolios, and we got everything. Okay, let's take a look at the chats. Okay, so let me go up a bit. Is this session going to cover order and subscription portfolios from Community Zone? No, we're not going to be talking about ordering subscription portfolios from Community Zone. We did last week, or last session, it wasn't last week because I was out for a bit. in the last session, we did orders, and we did orders of type one time, and we did orders of type subscription. You're welcome to see the videos here, which covered that. We will now use the community zone to order a specific portfolio, though. But hold on, let me just see these others, and then we'll pop into the community zone. Can you now also find portfolios from the CZ? Okay. Someone asked, can you find portfolios from the CZ and add them to your local collection? Let's try it, and that'll be the answer. Because now let's go into the community zone. I'm going to hold up on the others there. And let's do that. So now let's say I want only a portfolio, not a whole collection. And it is in the community zone, but one specific portfolio, not a whole collection. So let's come here. This is order and activate electronic portfolio from the community zone. And let's go a little faster here. So I'm going to take this one here, CEIC Matrix Taiwan. Let's say I want to order now CEIC Matrix Taiwan. So I'm going to search first for that portfolio. I want to make sure, of course, that I don't already have it. CEIC Matrix Taiwan. And in my institution, I don't have it. So I'm going to check the community. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I checked the community. And we do have it. So I can now either create an order or just activate it. And creating the order here is just like we did last time when we created the order on the level of the electronic collection. But I'll say, or you know what? We will do an order. We'll go a little quickly though. So let's pretend that this is a subscription because somebody asked about a subscription in the chat. So we're saying electronic journal subscription. We'll say main library, and I'll even use a template so it goes a little faster. So now we're creating an order for a specific portfolio from the community zone. And I will say here that we want to give it a renewal type manual renewal. My subscription, I will say, will be from January 1st, let's say 01/01/2023 to 31/12/2023. And let's also say my renewal date. I want to renew it, of course, before it ends. So I'll say 01/12/2023. I have month in the middle here. That should suffice for there. So that's my subscription information. I haven't yet given it a price. Let's give it a price. We'll say it's 100 euros. And we've already got everything else in here because I took it from a template. I'm about to order it. I don't have reporting codes. That's fine. And we've sent this off. So this is a order line for, it's sent already, an order line for one single portfolio in the community zone. So now I have this as a standalone though, because I didn't order an entire collection or even part of a collection. I went on the portfolio level and ordered it. So if I come now to electronic portfolios, CEIC Matrix Taiwan. Oh, CEIC, that was my mistake before. Okay, now I did Matrix. In any case, so here it is. That's in the community. And this we can see is ours because it has the icon that I've got it. These don't. I ordered mine from here. We can also see that it's not yet active. So let's go step by step. We still got some time. So let's see here. We can say create an e-activation task. That goes to the electronic resource activation task list. We already have one. We showed that last time in the last session when we talked about the electronic collections. So if we go to manage electronic resource activation, this is going to be in the unassigned tab. We used this last time. Here it is. And I will say activate. Do I want to continue? Yes. It's available. Do I want to edit it? No, I do not want to edit. And now I'm going to say done. Now it's in the assigned to me tab and done. So we've completed. Now it's active. Let's go look at that one more time. CEIX, this one. Now, someone in the chat asked, can we add this now to the local electronic collection? Yes. Or let's try it. I'm going to save this as a set. This is going to be interesting because it's already, technically speaking, it's part of a collection, but let's save it. I'll call it CEIC Matrix Taiwan. Okay, now let's go to our electronic collection. Electronic collection was called Resources About. I hope the person's still here who asked the question. Sometimes people leave towards the end. Person who asked the question, are you still here? Now we're going to go to the service. And in the portfolios, let's try to add that. Okay, the person is still here. Great. And now we're going to say add. Add from set. Here's the set. Submit. Confirm. Okay, let's see what's going to happen now. I'm just going to switch tabs here to refresh it. Let's go see. Admin, monitor jobs, history. Report. Okay, the answer is no. Because even though we activated only one portfolio, that portfolio is part of a collection. We didn't activate the collection, but if we go back to that portfolio, CEIC Matrix, I just want to refresh the question for the rest of the crowd. The person asked, if we activate a portfolio from the community zone, can we then add that to our local electronic collection? And the answer is no. We saw that right now, because even though we activated only the portfolio, it's already part of an electronic collection, which is in the community zone. Let me also send out to somebody else who asked, and I'll send that to everybody, the webinar series of the ALMA 2023 roadmap. Because I mentioned that we have a session about the new sets. You may also want to come November 7th. We've got on linked open data. November 13th and 14th, the new one on the sets functionality. Let me send that out to everybody in the chat as well, just as added information. And I'm afraid now we're out of time. So thanks everyone for joining. And we hope to see you in the other sessions. You've got the link now to the 2023 Roadmap webinar series coming up November 7th and November 13th. We got 2 new ones coming on. And you've also got a link to the 2023 Electronic Resources Management series. I see that additional questions were asked, and someone said they're also interested in that. We will add that either to next week's session, which is on maintaining e-resources, or the troubleshooting and discovery. I will look at those chats and I will add them to one of these. It looks like it's already going to be part of this maintain e-resources. I'll look more in depth at the question. Otherwise, we'll put it in the troubleshooting. So thanks again, everybody. And we will be posting the recording as normal. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.